Let's talk about semicolons today. We use the semicolon to join related ideas that can act on their own as sentences. When you think about the semicolon, it's simply a period and a comma put together. The period reminds us that the ideas or clauses can function on their own as sentences. These are called independent clauses. They contain a subject and a predicate. To remind you, the subject is the person or thing doing the main action in the sentence. The predicate is the part of the sentence that tells us what the subject is doing. More on this in a later video. To simplify all of that, an independent clause makes sense by itself. It is a sentence. We can only use the semicolon if the parts that come before and after it can act on their own as sentences or independent clauses. The comma reminds us that the ideas are related to each other, and we want to connect them. Now let's go through 4 different functions of semicolons. Firstly, we use semicolons to connect 2 related independent clauses without using a coordinating conjunction. This means we're not using and, or, but, etc. For example, my teacher loves art. We took him to the art gallery. Again, these are 2 related and connected ideas. They can stand on their own as sentences. They're independent clauses. Because they're related, we can also connect them with a semicolon. When we connect them with a semicolon, we don't use a conjunction like and or but. Secondly, we can use semicolons to replace a comma and a coordinating conjunction. The idea again is that the 2 connecting parts or clauses can act on their own as sentences. Coordinating conjunctions are words like and, or, but, etc. For example, I have 2 dogs and I love them both. We have 2 parts to the sentence. We have this first part, I have 2 dogs, and this second part, I love them both. Each can function on its own as a sentence, but we're connecting them with a conjunction, and a comma. We can replace the and the comma with a semicolon. The sentence will still make sense because the 2 clauses, the first part about having 2 dogs and the second part about loving them both, can also stand alone as sentences. We can also use semicolons when conjunctive adverbs connect 2 independent clauses. Conjunctive adverbs are words like however, indeed, and also. Here's an example. I wanted to go to the store, however, I did not bring any money. Notice that the semicolon precedes or comes before the conjunctive adverb. We can also use the semicolon in a list of complex ideas or items. Normally, we would use a comma to separate items in a list. For example, I bought an apple, a banana, a strawberry, and a carton of milk. We're separating the nouns in the list with commas. But let's say we had longer items in the list or items that contained punctuation, then we would want to use semicolons. For example, I want to know the population statistics for Ottawa, Canada, Paris, France, and Abuja, Nigeria. Each item in this list contains a comma. The items are Ottawa, Canada, that's one item, Paris, France, that's another item, and Abuja, Nigeria, that's the third item. It's much simpler to separate these items by semicolons rather than by commas. Let's go through some practice exercises. 1. Jerry visited the museum. He was fascinated by the ancient artifacts. The semicolon belongs here. These 2 ideas are related, and they can stand on their own as sentences. We can therefore connect them with a semicolon. 2. The weather forecast predicted a gloomy day. We set up our picnic anyway. These 2 ideas or clauses can stand on their own as sentences. Also, they are related to each other. We can therefore use a semicolon to connect them. 3. Moving to a new country is challenging. However, I love the new friends I have made. However is a conjunctive adverb. The semicolon should precede or come before however, and a comma should come after however. Here is a summary of the video lesson. The link is in the description box below. Thank you for watching. If you would like to continue working on your English language skills, please like and subscribe.